Welcome to 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, Season 3. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator. Each week, I sit down with a different author to explore what lies behind the pages. Growth, purpose, finding your voice. Enjoy today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. Today, I am joined with author Kiana Turner, whose book is titled The Wanderer's Life. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, why don't you start off? Oh, that's Siri, all in my business. So why don't you tell our listening, viewing audience just about you before we get into some aspects of the book?
So, I have actually been interested in writing from a very young age. And recently I started doing writer commissions for friends, and uh, it's gone very well. So, a lot of people are like, write this for me. So, I've always been a lover of writing and reading. So, this is just something that added to that.
So is that like a ghostwriter?
Um, In a way, yeah. As basically, I'm a. So you know how there's author commissions, like not author, like art commissions. I basically
Yes.
did the same thing,
Okay. Okay.
but instead
Yeah.
it was writing.
I'm glad I clarified that because I didn't know what that was, and maybe somebody in the listening, viewing audience didn't know what that was either. So I would love for you to tell us how this book concept came to be.
So it was actually a writing commission from a friend that a gaming friend that I met online. He wanted me to write his character's origin story. So originally it was only 3 pages. He read it and he was like, turn this into a book. And I was like, okay. And he's like, the deadline is just don't take 5 years. So I was like, okay. So I once he said that, I was like, okay. So I literally wrote this book for about 2 years in the making. And I had a lot of coworkers like read some of it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is good. They were reading, I was doing basically chapter after chapter. So they were just like, tell me more, write more. And then I took a break because my mind went mush, which it does. And after a while, I'm like, oh, right, I still need to finish this. So I went and started finishing it and then I published it.
I love it. I love it. So they were reading as you were writing, and then they kept wanting more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
So let's start off by you telling us a little bit about, I would say, the high level version of what the book is about, especially because I'm going to tell you, I do not know anything about gaming. It's been a long time since I've read books with characters in them. I One of my friends said, you read the boring books. Everything that I read for the most part is about mindset, emotional intelligence, growth, menopause. So those, and in those books, there are generally no characters. So tell our listening, viewing audience just overall about the book and the characters, especially for those of us um, who are not gamers, and there's a overall theme to the book. The two things that caught my eye were grief and growth. Growth, because I focus on growth. But grief, I recently lost my grandfather who was 104, and I didn't realize um, how much that grief had impacted me.
So basically, my online friend, his name is Knight of Modius. So his character Delbath is based off of him, and it's the story begins basically. Wandering Knights, they don't have a kingdom that they serve for. They don't have a religion and stuff like that. So, and originally he actually didn't have one. So I found that out just recently. And he wanted a story where his character lost his love interest, and she actually lost her life because in their time a wandering knight and a paladin should not be together. So in a way, this is like a almost a medieval times of Romeo and Juliet, except Romeo didn't die. And once I actually cried a bit while I was writing it. I was like, this death scene makes me want to cry. So that was basic. That was the grief, and because of his grief, he didn't want to involve any more people into his life. But in the end, he ended up gaining friends who wanted to support a cause that wandering knights shouldn't be treated as if they're like the plague, because that's basically how he was treated. So that's basically how grief turned into a power for him, where he gains the mindset that if these people are being seen as someone that isn't worthy of being alive or loyal, then I need to change it.
So he was essentially this person who felt like he lost everything,
Hmm.
but through his support system, continued to search for meaning for his life.
Yep. And I think the great part about it is the people who become part of his life are actually outcasts themselves. There's a character who is an orphan. There's a character who is a mercenary or a veteran. You have uh, rogues. You have another paladin who is like, this is wrong. So he ends up gaining people who believe in his cause. Some of them are the same as him, and then he does have one who is a lord of a town who also has his knight who fights for his cause. So it wasn't just the outcast. There's people who believe that people shouldn't be outcasted at all.
And so that really speaks to how powerful it is to have community and companionship. And through those, you can change as a person when you have that community. No one should be alone.
Right.
I think this is a great story for kids, because I think a lot of times, and I'm thinking about my niece and nephew. My niece in particular, because one of my nieces, she's one of my nieces because I have several. But she um, is on the autism spectrum, and sometimes in school, people tease her, and that can be. I've never been bullied or teased, but I can only imagine the impact that it has on her, because she verbalizes that, they did this to me or they did that to me. And um, one of the things I've been wondering as she gets a little older is, should she stay in the general population with us, or should she be in a community with others that are similar to her, and what impact that would have on her growth? And I've been trying to compare that with my oldest daughter, who has some special needs. She's nonverbal, she can't hear. And I made a decision to put her in a small um, 4-bedroom house with other women who had the same thing. And it's almost like, she's with her tribe, she's with her people, and the resources that have been available to her have helped her grow. So, in the book, um, there's a discussion about the wanderer finding purpose, right? When the world has basically taken away everything, the love of the life, all of that. What message do you hope readers will take away from his continued pursuit to um, find love again, and find a home, find a community? What do you hope readers take away from that?
I think the main thing I want people, readers in general, to take away from it is that life will get you down, and it's not the end of the world. You can always find your next purpose. It can be in love, it can be in writing, it can be music, it can be anything. Um, and the most important thing is there's going to be someone in your community. It doesn't matter what part, what person you are. You can be on special needs, you can be um, someone of color, you can be whatever person, and you'll find a community that actually sees you for the person that you are versus how people want you to be seen. Um, so that's basically what he's at to do. He's trying to show that despite the fact that he is a wandering knight, he's no different from a normal knight. He can still be loyal. He can still uh, fight, and he can still find someone that sees the same purpose that he does.
Wow. So instead of focusing on the differences, focusing on similarity.
Yeah,
So one of the things that I thought about with the book is it portrays this world that's really fractured, broken. When you were writing, how did you balance these? Because it was light moments, it was dark moments. So how did you find yourself trying to balance it? And then you said you were crying as you were writing. So how did you balance all of that?
so I have been in love with writing for a very long time. So I've had to learn that just from also reading the words of others, that there's going to be light moments in the book, there's going to be dark moments in the book, there's going to be the center of the book as well. And I decided that that's basically what any book really needs. That's what every book kind of has, at least the ones I've read, written, read. I read a lot of romance. So because I wanted this to still be a romance novel, I wanted to show that there is good in romance, there's bad in romance, there's the middle for romance. So it's not like the romance is just this. No, there's lots of ups and downs that happens in love, and I wanted to see that even Delbath feels that.
I love that. I love that. I think about probably, I would say 30 years ago, I read a lot of romance novels. And I would literally stay up all night until I finished the book because I wanted to see like what was gonna happen next. Because I just kept turning the pages, right? And as a woman, I'm emotional, so I love a part of a story where I can cry, where I can laugh, where I can go through all the emotions. And I felt like, how do you say his name? DeBath? D
Delbath.
E Delbath, yeah. He had a lot of complexities to his emotions, right? Because he could be charming, he could be playful, but he felt lonely, so he was quiet. So he had multiple layers upon layers um that created who he was as a person. What do you think his how do you what do you think about how we as people hide our pain and his emotions? Because we hide our pain.
I think everyone hide. It's different for every person. For people who are empathetic, we try to not show them as much as people who are sympathetic. Some sympathetic people will show them just to show that they feel it, versus if you're empathetic, you try to hold it in until there's no one there. So in a way, Delbaf is actually a little bit more of both. He's empathetic, he's also sympathetic. I think for him though, it was more so he was empathetic because he knew the hardships of what it's like to be someone who is not seen as a person who can still be loyal. And he had his sympathies as well, for especially for the orphan child that he later on adopts. So he knows that it's not just okay, it's okay to have your pain and it's okay to show it, but at the same time it really just depends on your personality. I'm I can tell you I have my emotions. Sometimes I show it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm really bad at hiding it and sometimes I'm really good at it. So it's also finding the balance for myself is I'm still learning.
Absolutely. And he loved Ava. He loved her so much. I think many of us long to have loves that's, that deep. And so to lose that love is very hurtful. I remember my grandparents were married for 75 years. And my grandmother died in 2018. And so I was thinking, surely my grandfather was going to die like the next couple of months, but he lived 7 years longer. And I realized why he stayed around, which I'm not going to get into. But love after loss is definitely something that's difficult for some people to handle. So let's talk about these other folks that was in there. Cause I said I feel like I had to do a book report on this book because you had a lot of people in this book. So listen,
I sure
I,
did.
let me see. Cat Felix. I was like, I felt like it was a movie. Like this could be a movie with all these people in here. But which one of these companions was the most enjoyable for you to write about?
I will be very honest. I feel like the child, the orphan child, because she, writing her, I'm like, if this becomes a movie, I hope I become her voice.
Wow. Wow.
Because the reason why I say that is because she loved him since she wanted to be with him since the very beginning. And she literally left the town she was born in to follow him. And out of all of them, she's the youngest. So you have a child who is an orphan who's like, I want to follow this man despite the fact that our town just met him. So she follows him to the point that she learns more than she should at her age. And a lot of people don't know, kids, we learn a lot just by observing. And she observed that the world was unfair just by the fact that no one had adopted her. No one told her that they'll find her a family. She found her own just by following the main character. She found her family in him, and she found her family in the people who joined him later on. So it wasn't. So that's why I'm like, she's probably the one I enjoyed writing about the most, because she was like, she already saw him as a father figure. She already saw him as someone that she wanted to be around. Even when they're like, you should stay behind, she's like, no, I will fight this cause. So, out of everyone, the orphan was probably my most favorite.
Well, you know what? That just kind of makes me think about that there are a lot of orphans out there that have stories of strength and struggle and sacrifice that they've had to endure that most of us have no clue what that type of life is like. And so when you find something that feels right, you cling to that um because you believe that that's where you're supposed to be. This is my person. And I know all kids, want to be loved by a parent. So if someone finishes your book feeling seen, inspired, what's one message that you hope stays with them after they close the Kindle book?
The one thing I want them to keep is, it's okay to have the emotions that you have. Everyone is going to be different, everyone is unique in their own way. And you are able to fight for what you believe is right. Now, I don't mean go and start punching people.
Yeah, let's just be
Or
clear. No fighting.
no actual fighting, but there are ways to show people that being different, there's nothing bad about being different. I'm different, you're different. I literally, um, I don't, I just like, who you were saying earlier, I know those struggles because I actually am on the spectrum myself. So it's
Mhm.
just, I know that I'm very different. And at the same time, I'm like, and
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that you're blessed in that you're able to speak, you can hear. My daughter is 33. I- She can't hear. I've never heard her speak. She makes some sounds, but so you're blessed. And at the end of the day, if you think back to when everybody is born, when you're born, they capture your footprint. Everybody is different. Believe it or not, someone said to somebody else, oh, that's Lisa. She's different. Guess what? I am different because I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be like other people. I want to be who God created me to be. And it's not to be like you. I'm being me. I'm good at being me. So before we wrap up, I have to know what's next.
Belbath is getting a sequel. The person, he was like, "Can you make a book too?" I'm like, "Sure."
Well, wait. Well, when is the movie gonna come? Like, you
I,
need to slip in a movie, even if it's a stage play.
even I don't know that part. I will be very honest. I did a it was more out of fun. We did a script thing, me and a friend of mine in high school, and she wrote it into a book. And I was like, "Oh, that's fun." Oh, lost my earpiece. That's fun. Haha, found it. And if it becomes a book, awesome. Just don't put me as one character, like the extra characters. Have me like actually be in it. I could be an extra, but I can be like one of the people who are just like, yes, we fight for this.
Yes, yes. I absolutely love that. I think, I mentioned earlier that in the book, you portray hope in a fractured world. But that's not too far off from the world that we're living in today because it is very, very, very fractured. I remember asking my grandfather, you, you were here for 104 years. What do you think about this life that we're all experiencing? And what he said to me, which is his typical answer, I treat everybody right and I love God. And that was the end of that. Like, don't worry about the world being so fractured. Just continue to treat everybody right. Continue to love everybody and basically keep it moving. So that spoke volumes to me because I think it's easy for us to get angry at a fractured world, but there is hope. There is hope, right? All
Yeah.
we have to do is keep searching after it and find our tribe. We need our tribe, our community, because that's what helps keep us going. So, how can our listening, viewing audience find you? Are you on social media?
I am. So Kiana Turner is my name on Facebook. I'm be very honest. Angel Turner is just my pen name for the book for my writing pleasure, my writings. Um, I do have a gaming channel, but you probably should find me on Facebook, and then we can talk about all of that afterwards. But yeah, Kiana Turner. I look, I look literally exactly like this. There, except for the hair is a little different, but I look exactly like this.
Well, I will tell you, our son, who is 27, no, 29, he's a gamer. And then our little grandsons, who are 2, 3, and 5, I just found out that they're gamers too. So um there's a whole community of you guys out
Yeah,
there. I didn't even realize how large that industry was. So there's going to be a sequel. I'm
yeah.
excited about that. And then hopefully, um, maybe you can do some little YouTube animated videos or something, just to, I think kids would really, really like to see some little videos. Kids be on YouTube looking at videos.
Mm, I don't know.
Yes. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much. I'm glad we were able to get you in as one of the authors on 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. Um, I walked away believing that the wanderer's life is about finding purpose in a world that has taken everything from you. And a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So I hope that our listening, viewing audience walks away with that message, finding purpose when the world has taken almost everything. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for tuning in to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. We will see you next time. You've just experienced another conversation from 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, Season 3. The conversation may pause here, but the growth continues. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator, and I'll see you next week.